The discussions and decisions taken here over the next 2 weeks will determine how the international community meets the targets it's already set itself in telecommunications and the internet over the next 4 years. We're at the World Telecommunications Development Conference in Hyderabad, India. International delegates have come here to work out an action plan. Why? Because while most of us have access to mobile telephones, currently networks reach 90% of the world's population, only 25% of people in the developing world have access to the internet. The International Telecommunications Union, the UN agency that's organised this conference, is pressing on delegates the need to make broadband internet available to half the world's population by 2015. What's happening in Rwanda is being held up as an example of the sort of thing that's possible in the developing world.
We expect Rwanda to be fully broadband by 2011. Currently, we are border-to-border fiber optic, and will be broadband WiMAX as last mile solution. Rwanda is a small country with 26,338 square kilometers. But what is perceived as traditional disadvantage of being a small country and a higher population density is being turned into opportunities.
Rwanda has small country advantage, many others don't, and are cut off by vast distances and a lack of essential infrastructure such as electricity. But one scheme is bringing broadband internet and mobile phones within the grasp of remote communities, and it's using solar power. It's inexpensive to use and it doesn't hurt the environment.
We have designed a totally solar powered end-to-end GSM solution, which provides not only GSM voice data and broadband also. And the unit is a very small unit. It's a do-it-yourself kind of a kit, which is installed in the village itself on rooftop. 2 small solar panels, and 2 villagers themselves can install the whole thing in about 6 to 8 hours. The traditional GSM solution was for cities, urban areas, dense urban. It was never designed for to go to rural areas. So we at VNL 5 years ago took up this mission that we will design a solution by means of which the pupil can have the phone, because they need it more than you and me, because they have no other means of communication. And we have been successful in this, and we have installed it in more than 100 villages in India and Africa, and now we are installing it in other countries.
It's no accident that the World Telecommunication Development Conference is being held in Hyderabad. The city's become a home to high tech and is awash with software companies and internet ventures. In techie circles, Hyderabad goes by the name Cyberabad. But there's another side to Hyderabad, just as there's another side to the WTDC. The World Telecommunication Development Conference is not about pushing the dream of high-tech high flyers. Instead, it's about making information and communication technology available to the rest of us. Those of us who don't work in glimmering office blocks, who don't have access or may not even know how to use the internet or a computer, who can't get hold of the sort of information and knowledge that could improve lives and transform life chances.
A huge development has happened in IT and communication around the world. 4 billion people in the world are now being connected to a special device, either through internet, through a cell phone, etc. But at the same time, 4 billion people, we couldn't have access to justice, we couldn't access to a lawyer, who didn't have any information regarding the way of defending themselves. So this is this connection between this progress in terms of technology and how the e-governance, how people can benefit from this new technology. At the same time, within the context of the Millennium Development Goals, we would expect that this better communication, better information to the people, we should use it for education, for access to health systems. So this is why there's still progress to be made.
But progress also needs to be made to raise the level of local expertise, not just so people can run their own networks and avoid having to rely on expensive outside help, but also so countries can punch at their own weight when they're negotiating with the telecoms giants over contracts.
Name some e-governance type contracts we've seen. It is completely skewed in favor, of course, of the provider of that service. And so the national government or the people who are there, they don't necessarily have the know-how, or they don't have the knowledge base to be able to negotiate on equal footing.
So what do you need? Because large telecoms companies have teams of lawyers who can write up a contract that can leave you in a lot of difficulty.
I think lawyers, and also with, in fact, actual IT expertise. You know, ITU, for example, in Fiji's case at the moment, is helping us with spectrum planning. But I think they also need to be able to be the bridge, I suppose, between the private sector and also the small, vulnerable island countries.
So you need a big brother to look after you?
I think so. Brother in partnership.
The challenges facing developing countries are vast. Smart technology needs smarts to use it, to put it in place, to run it, to repair it, to negotiate fairer contracts. The World Telecommunication Development Conference is setting goals for information and communication technology, at the same time as putting in place the know-how of how best to use it.